What's up, everyone? It's Gavin or Tweek.
What's good, y'all? It's Pink or Marcus.
True.
What up, Charles or Chuck?
What's going on, everyone? You got Haz or Matt, and half of us were making moves in Miami this weekend, down in Miami, down in Florida. Amazing tournament actually going on to continue the series. Shout out to Max Ketchum, of course, our boy, running a pair of tournaments here, one in New York City, one in Miami, two of the greatest cities in the United States, and making some great smash happen there. And I think there's some easy talking points from this tournament, if I'm not mistaken. I know Charles and Gavin were there, so we can get you guys, you were there in person, get your experiences and your firsthand accounts. And Marcus and I were chilling at home watching, so it was a good watch from home, though. Honestly, 2 streams, good commentators, and good action on every stream. So I had a good time watching at home. See ya.
Yeah, it was fun being there too. Like the beach was cool, right? Place to eat and stuff. So we went to a mall as well. There's like a really nice mall nearby. So
that mall was crazy.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. And then the actual tournament, like we ended up playing a lot of friendlies too. There was a lot of setups. I had a really, really fun time there. And it was just fun hanging out, commentating. Amazing matches. The crew battle was like super sick down to the last stock, right? That was crazy. Yeah. Being there in person and just like hearing all the shit talk in the crowd and stuff, it was so funny.
Florida crowds, dude, they're insane.
Yeah. That crew battle was...
And then Gavin got the clip. The clip! That was so sick, dude.
Yeah, it was a great tournament. The crew battle, we were getting destroyed, like, for the most part, and then all of a sudden I was like, wait, it's, like, down to the wire. I like, wasn't emotionally invested.
Close, like,
yeah.
Holy shit.
I wasn't emotionally invested, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, I'm invested now. And then we lost by 1 stock. Like, dude, I was so sad after. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. The biggest talking point is definitely Steve.
Steve!
I think one of the funniest things, though, is that the tournament, a lot of it went as projected. Like, Acola and Onin were the number 1 and 2 seeds. And it's like, when it happened, people are like, what the? This isn't what we want. But, like,
yeah,
it's how they were seeded because they've just been doing so well. No, but yeah, there was like 8 or more Steves in top bracket, and basically everyone I knew except myself, after just a few matches, had already played against like 1 or 2 Steve players.
Yeah, and dude,
it's
people
happening.
called that out
it's
before
happening.
The tournament happened, is that it's a tournament of Steves. And to be fair, like you said, the top 2 seeds there were Steve players, and they landed as projected. But also there were some upsets on the side of Steves too. I don't want to talk about Chunky yet because that's like it's like a segment within itself, obviously, to talk about how sick DK is. But that was a really, really big upset, is Chunky over D-Dog. And the other thing there too is like it's funny because Muteace tweeted after, was like, everyone used to make fun of me for losing to Chunky or make fun of me and Goblin or whoever for losing to Chunky all the time. And it's like, dude, Chunky's the real deal, so.
Oh, dude, the DK was clean.
Yeah.
Beyond. Was crazy. And the crowd was going crazy for that set. That was wild. That was a crazy, crazy set.
Yeah, I'm so happy to see DK doing well in, like, late Ultimate.
Which is wild because
like DK is usually considered one of the weakest options in the entire game. So like seeing DK do well, and not just in one set, like multiple sets, making upsets and doing really well, like that's actually beautiful. And other than ChunkyKong being like a big MVP of the bracket, another MVP of mine was actually Mute. Especially just in general, Mew has been fantastic lately. Very consistent, like top 8ing, making a lot of difficult scenarios and matchups work. Even taking a set off Acola. And shouts to Acola for actually winning the bracket from losers as well. But basically, Mute was kind of like my inspiration throughout the tournament because I feel like in the top 16, top 8, like our characters were like kind of similar. Like, basically like not fighter pass characters or something.
Good way
It
to
felt
put
like we were it felt like we were like working super hard, and like I was always looking to Mute for inspiration. Like every time Mute won a set that I didn't win or won a matchup I was struggling with, I was like, if Mute can do it, like so can I. Like when I was out of the tournament, like seeing Mute like take a set off Riddles, take a set off Acola, like that inspired me to actually like sit down and keep playing, because I was like, if Mute can do it with Peach, like I can do it with Diddy Kong. I think it's not the most comparable thing in the world, but it's definitely something comparable. So that was my inspiration for the tournament, and yeah, like I feel like Mute was just out of place. There was like a bunch of Steve, and like there was Riddles with Kazuya, and then there's just Mute with Peach. So
Yeah, it's funny because
Fighting the good fight.
I remember almost a year ago, main stage 2021. Like obviously, Mute has been on all of our radars for a really long time. But I remember that bracket for Mute. Mute lost to a young link early on. Was it Kobe? It was one of the young links, you know, and that's
Yeah.
a really tough matchup for Peach. And I saw Mute lose very early, and I was like, that sucks. But then he went on a hell of a run for main stage 2021 and only lost to you game 5 in losers bracket, like a really close set.
That's
Yeah.
And I was like,
you know.
Mute has really leveled up, and this was almost a full year ago, and the progress and the effort and the work is very clear.
Yes.
Mentally, and I think physically too, because I know Mute has problems with his hands too, and I know it's something he's been working on, so I don't know how that's going, but in marathon runs where you get third in a big bracket like this, you're going to be playing a lot of sets, and with Peach, it's going to be a lot of APM, a lot of actions per minute. So definitely been grinding a lot and putting a lot of work in Best Peach, and had a good showing at Odyssey too.
Yeah.
Just been killing it lately, which is, like you said, it's really nice to see the character specialists do well.
Yeah. Yeah. As for my bracket run, I guess we can get that out of the way and then talk about some of the other things. I actually thought I was playing fantastic for some of the sets I played. It started off with the crew battle, which was like, I think I played pretty crazy in that in some moments. There were some things I could have
Yeah, you
done
got
better.
6 stocks. That was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, and then it's like rough because I know you were talking about the Diddy Ditto and like how you feel like Aaron's the best at the Diddy Ditto. It's just
Yeah,
hard
he's
for
really
you.
good at
And
it.
then on top of that, like
Wow.
you started a stock down too, so it's like, damn, this was already tough. Like now I have to approach like shit. But
Yeah.
I mean, I thought Aaron was very important in that crew battle because if he didn't stop what you were doing, like, you know what I mean? Cola
Yeah.
took 1 stock, bro. Like, and that was one of their strongest players was Cola. So I think you making it so Cola only took 1 stock was probably the biggest pivot in terms of momentum in the crew battle, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so then going into like the actual bracket, like it was funny because everyone was playing against like the DLC characters, but my first few opponents were like PT, Bayo, Lucina, like year 1 characters, you know what I mean? Especially like PT
Right.
and Lucina. And as a Diddy player, like those are your best friends. I was like, this is awesome. Like I was just like playing the matchups and just cruising through. Then my first opponent of final bracket was Epic Gabriel, and Rob is my favorite matchup in the entire game. But a lot of those matches were close as well, but I managed to win that one. And then my next opponent was Teaser, which is a really good Samus player. And I just lost to Siski in the groups like Swiss thing and Ludwig's last week. So I was really nervous, but I was also like, if there's any time that this could work out, it's right now, because I had been like mentally thinking about it ever since I lost and like thinking of things I could do with Diddy. And that was actually one of the most like efficient wins I had the entire weekend. It actually went fantastic. So that was really cool. It wasn't a run back versus Siski. Like it was a different player, of course, but it felt like a big like run back for me, like a mental win, if that makes sense.
The matchup run back.
Yeah, so that was actually my favorite part of the entire tournament. Sadly, it was off stream, but like it felt like a big deal for me, and that put me all the way in the winners' quarters. And it felt like, oh wow, all right, I'm here. Like some of the really tough stuff is starting
And
now.
Teaser,
I was gonna say
Teaser-
Teaser beat Dark Wizzy.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Teaser must have upset.
Teaser had a great run, and J Mafia 3-0
Wow.
over J Mafia and 2-0 over Dark Wizzy.
Yeah, and
Great run.
And J Mafia played Teaser because J Mafia took out Goblin in earlier as well. So I was playing in like an upset bracket. Then I played Riddles, and that loss actually hurt pretty bad. Because the last time I lost to Riddles was like game 5. Which I guess in a way that could be twisted as like a more painful loss, but I lost 3-0 to Riddles, and the first 2 games, like I was just winning by so much, and I just couldn't close it out, especially the second game, and then the third game, like I just got ran over. But that one was just really upsetting because it just like Kazuya just like eviscerates your stocks before you can even realize what's happening. Especially because I had to play Jackal to qualify for top 8 after. And I wish even if I played Jackal like 1 round later, I would have been much happier because it would be like in top 8. But it's unfortunate that we had to play it for a top 8 qualifier. But Jackal did beat Cosmos and Dark Wizzy back to back before he had to play with me. So I was really proud of him for those wins. But yeah, I managed to win that set as well to get into top 8. And then my top 8 match was Acola. And I was happy because it's a run back, and like those are my biggest I feel the best when I like get some of those run backs when I go to a tournament. Like Meister was my favorite win.
Like I feel like there's tournaments where you get those run backs earlier on in the bracket, and
Yeah,
because you win them, you get so much like confidence and momentum
True.
that you just like snowball it out of control. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like beating Meister at Ludwig's felt great because I lost the previous set. So losing to Riddles actually sucked because I lost the previous set too, and now I'm just like fiending to beat Riddles. Like now I just like it's all I'm thinking about. And now it's the same with Acola because I lost up to Acola 3-2 again. And even though it was 3-2, I actually don't feel very good about it. It feels like whether this is Steve or Acola or both, probably a Steve thing. It feels like whenever I'd get an inch, Steve could just physically move the goalpost farther. You know what I mean? It's like if I figure something out or if I do something, it's like Steve can literally choose to stop something from working or to stop me from winning. Like literally like gets to choose to stop it. And like it was insane. Like I knew it was probably not winnable when Steve would put up some blocks and I would break them. And by the time they were broken, there would be more blocks than when I started. And I'm like, okay, if I do the math here,
Oh my God.
he's just getting too many materials. And I'm breaking the blocks, so it's like it's not like I'm making a mistake or you know what I mean? It's like it's just
I mean, you have barrels, right? Like that's the only other way
Yeah.
you probably you do damage to yourself to break them more
Barrels,
efficiently.
you only do 4 to yourself, right?
Six.
That's what I said. 6. Okay, all right. It's close though.
Oh,
It's not a lot. It looks like it's more than 6. That's for sure. It
I mean,
looks like
2 is already 12%. Like I feel like 6 kind of adds up.
Oh yeah. It's not like it stales or something.
it should.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Sure, it should.
Why not?
Damage staling.
So it's interesting. It feels like even though the Riddle set was a 3-0 loss, it's like, all right, like Kazuya is one-dimensional enough where like I know what I have to do to win next time. Like no matter whatever happens in a Kazuya set, like the next time I play against Kazuya, I have a pretty good idea, right?
There's like a clear
whether it's
weakness.
Riddles or someone else, yeah.
Like
Like, I know
Kazuya
what
is
to do.
an overtuned fighting game character in Smash.
Yeah.
That's what he is, right?
Yeah.
It's
You say it with so much hatred.
just-
Overtuned fighting game character.
I mean-
That's huge. All right.
He really likes
I've been
Kazuya.
scarred.
Kazuya rules.
It's funny because it's only Smash 4 Ryu that made me feel this way. But anyway, I mean, it's like at the end of the day, it's a character that gets a lot of return when they get up next to you, as fighting game characters should, right? And they have harder to input combos, but they get rewarded for them more, you know, either via knockback wise for kill confirms or just raw damage. There are like, if you have platforms, there's sometimes mix-ups, and there's even certain mix-ups of like, oh, I'm getting Electra, am I going to DI to the platform or not to the platform, right? Those are when it matters. for the most part, because if you're right underneath the platform, then technically I think you can do like first tech to cover everything, right? But there in Kazuya combos, I feel like there is certain windows of they have to read you or guess your DI preemptively to get something bigger in return, right? But I say that because sometimes they don't have to do that. Like electric get to run up smash, auto turnaround, like doesn't matter what's
Yeah.
that's crazy. But so there's like there are bullshit moments in Kazuya combos, but there's also windows in which there is counterplay. So I think it's fine, and it's like he has to get to you too. He's not fast. He is invincible most of the game, but he's not fast.
He'd be moving pretty quick with that crouch dash cannon, bro.
I mean, I don't think it's. I think it's
not slow.
And a frame 4 up air and a reflector that kills you if it's a strong enough projectile. I don't know, dude.
I'm just saying it's possible to camp this character out. Like,
Yeah,
I think
no,
it's
it
very
is, it
possible
is.
to.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to sound like it's like if it's impossible to keep him out, that's when it's like, okay, this is like, where's the weakness, right? But I think Kazuya has clear weaknesses, and like you can exploit them to win. You know what I'm saying?
I think, yeah, I agree, and I think he used to have more weaknesses before people started exploiting. Like Kazuya flowchart used to be electric into electric, and like that was it. Like, because if I hit the electric, you're dead. Like that rules. I'm gonna keep doing that. But now, like Riddles and the other top Kazuyas, like Ferps, like developing tech and stuff, the character has evolved because now Riddles, again, using aerials so well, condition you to shield because you're so afraid of electric and his aerials. Now he's using command grab in the air too, which is so fucked up that character has a command grab in the air. It's wild. It is insane. Obviously, I love the character. Like he's one of my favorite characters in the game, just aesthetically, and I think he's cool. I like playing him and stuff. But like, damn, why does he have electric? So if you get hit by that, you die. A grab that kills you on the ground, and then also if you shield and he's underneath you, frame 4 up air plus a command grab in the air.
Yeah,
it's a lot of shit to worry about.
Yeah,
the up air is the real issue.
Basically,
like obviously electric is, but up air is so like you can mash that move. Think of a situation where up air is not good. Go.
Is it frame 1 hurt box shuffling? It is, right? But it's frame 4.
I know it's invincible.
And there's like a hitbox horizontally in front of him too. So
the hitbox is crazy. Yeah.
You can literally run up to people and do rising up air, and that's like a neutral option.
So
it's really good.
Basically what I was getting at with the Acola set was when I would do something or get something or win a game, it felt like Steve could literally just add another layer to the flowchart and just stop me from even having a chance. So like even though that set was closer than the Riddle set, it felt like I was farther away from like figuring it out. Because you can clearly see that Acola and other Steve players in a lot of their other sets, it's like when they get hit by X, they can just do Y, and now it's like X is no longer an option, and it just will never work. Like it's like they can just upgrade their defense every time something gets scary, and you just slowly get iced out. And that just left a lot of questions for me, like going into the next time I fight Steve or Aquila specifically. So I just practiced a bunch. But yeah, I had a good weekend. I'm happy to like at least get top 8. I feel like getting top 8 always feels like a breath of fresh air for me because it feels like I quote unquote like did my job. Like it's like all right, like I'm where I wanted to be. Like now I can like try to see how much farther I can go if that makes sense.
Right.
Like getting top 8 always feels like you broke past something and.
It's a big deal, right? Because I mean, a lot of players, when you ask them what's the worst placing to get, the 2 worst placings that come up is 2nd and 9th, right?
2nd and 9th.
Yeah.
Obviously, 2nd is like the absolute worst one. That's hands down the worst one. But 9th also really, really sucks too. Just being that 1 win away from top 8. So
I have a bunch of ideas for next time, whether it's Kazuya or Steve, especially Steve. Like, I just got to try to keep up, right? Because they have so many things up their sleeve as well. I just hope when I do it, I hope it works. And I hope they don't move the goalpost farther than I anticipate. You know what I mean? Like, I hope like I eventually reach a point where like there's like a playing field that is like comprehensible for me. But
but you think Steve is beatable, right? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think all like
I
think all the players I've played against, like a lot of my like I've lost to pretty much a bunch of Steves, but it's always like close or something. So like I think the players are beatable. So it's not hopeless. It's just like I said, it feels like the goalpost just is never ending. Like it's always being adjusted.
Right.
So hopefully, like I can accelerate faster than they can move the goalpost. So we'll see.
I mean, Steve doesn't move too fast, right? So
That's a good way of putting it too, because when I was watching at my house, I just kept thinking to myself, like, Acola plays a lot of long sets. I don't know if y'all have noticed that, but like sometimes Acola like wins a swift 3-0, but for the most part, they're game
Yeah.
fives. Like they're like long, grindy sets. And
Mhm.
by the fifth game, like usually he'll just like three stock someone. Like it's
Yeah.
really, really, really strange to watch.
Yes.
And I couldn't like quite put it into words, but you saying like it feels like he's like consistently moving the goalposts and making it harder to hit him. I think that's a good way to put it, because I was literally like, dang, dude, like what is happening? Like
Mhm.
it feels like, oh, okay, well, this is a close set. Oh, this could go either way. And then game 5 starts and I'm like,
Yeah. It's no
was this
longer
ever
back and forth.
close?
Yeah.
Like was it? I don't understand, but and I've noticed that for a long time watching Acola, and now I'm like, yeah, that's a good way of phrasing it.
Yeah. I think it's like what any player does with any character. It's like you're testing your opponent, you're showing them this like layer 1 setup. If they don't do much about it, you beat them with that and you're good. Like now you have more energy for the next set or whatever. Like whatever
right.
whatever reason you're doing it for. And let's say they execute properly against layer 1. It's like, okay, layer 2. Like I do this every tournament of my life. Like mid game, in between games, in between sets, like. But Steve is like, it's like there's a million different things, and I feel like it's more from a defensive standpoint. It's like Steve will give you opportunities to hit him, or like a lot of the players they'll do that, and if they get hit hard enough, they'll be like, okay, like I gave you your chance, like you're not getting that again, like, and then they adjust their neutral and they start going crazy with the walls, and they're gonna go for more materials than before, like they can just collect more win conditions and insurance depending on how dangerous they view the opponent. And I feel like that's like you said, I feel like that's what a lot of the players have done, like
He
especially if they
also
had games to work with.
he also saves a lot of offensive layers as well. I've noticed that definitely, where like
Dude, Steve's
he'll
offense is crazy.
he'll like Acola specifically will like save like certain ledge traps or like certain juggle situations. It's like the first time you've seen it out of nowhere game 5 and you're like, what the heck is this? Like what am I supposed to do here? And then he takes your stock at like 80 or something like that. Or like his routes change throughout the set, like they get infinitely better. I'm like, what? I don't know if it's like him catching on to like your DI or like your SDI or what, or like maybe just gains confidence to go for like better strings later in the set, or like I don't know. It does feel like there's like way more layers to his gameplay. Like it starts out extremely simple, like a very extremely effective flowchart, and then over time it feels like I'm sitting there like, what the heck? I've never seen this before in my life. Like I didn't even know Steve could do that. And I feel like that happens a lot with him.
Yeah. That's the hardest thing, is especially like for me, like going into it, like I try to be prepared for a lot of different things. And then like, especially if you're losing a stock to something that catches you off guard, like it is so hard to continue playing a tournament set after that stock. 'Cause you're just like, well, like now I have to add that to my like mental bank. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just exhausting.
So wait, really quick, you know what's wild? Remember when we interviewed him at Invitational, right?
Hmm.
And he said one of the most exciting like things he was looking forward to was playing against aggressive playstyle. Remember he said that?
Yeah.
In against like just the American playstyle, right? And it's so wild because his offense, I just feel like ever since then, or I don't know if he just likes to try to optimize his offense, but speaking of optimizing offense,
True.
but
Hey.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like Acola, if he can play aggressive in a matchup, his aggression is just ridiculous. I think that's why he runs over Onin. Like he doesn't camp versus Onin. If you watched him versus Onin at Ludwig's, he literally rushes Onin down and destroys him. Like rush down Steve. Now, obviously, it's easier to rush down when you're going up against another kind of like immobile-ish character, right? But still, I think it's crazy how much he gets off of a single hit, and even just the fact that he's able, because Japan's usually known as a more defensive region, right? But I feel like he's one of the first Japanese players to be like has the crazy offense with really, really good defense too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I actually was going to mention that I haven't been able to play against Onin yet. So that's like, I think maybe the one like top Steve player I haven't played with. I was actually close to getting a set with Onin at Big House. I was like, if I beat Light in that game 5, I would have played Onin.
Oh, true.
So we'll see how that goes if that ever happens. But I have a bunch of ideas for it. So hopefully I can like get a dub eventually. And you know what I was thinking? There's a lot to talk about with this tournament, but at least we're talking about Steve, right? Like that's the main topic. But I was thinking like, because there's a lot of discourse about like Steve right now, like naturally, right? Like the character's really good and like the tournament results and everything. But it's so crazy how much it would shift if like Jen just won one more game versus Acola and Acola got denied.
I was just thinking the same thing with Onin. Game 5 against Muteace, Game 5 against Zomba, Game 5 against Black Twins. Like, just dude. And I'm saying.
And then the next set after, like, Jen Acola, if I just won one more game, like, or if I just won one game at Summit, like, it's crazy that, like, it's first to 3. And, like, the entire narrative of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate will change during this, like, after this Game 5. And sadly, 99% of the time the Steve comes out on top, but it's crazy how close the narrative is to not even like existing as much in the first place. Like we would not be talking about like straight up banning the character if it was only one of the two in top 8.
Bro, this character lost to Donkey Kong this weekend. What the heck? You know what I mean? Like that actually happened, you know?
Yeah. I mean, yes, but that was also the only time where the Steve didn't clutch up. You know what I mean?
And it was 2 out of 3 at that point.
And in the entire bracket,
that's a very big deal.
D-Dog was the only like Steve that didn't make it to the top cut, and there was already 8 of them.
What's top like cut? 9. Top 64?
Top 64.
Okay.
Which is like
just
that,
making sure. Yeah.
I mean, remember back at like Riptide or like post quarantine, early post quarantine. It's like top players didn't even have to worry about Steve because it just wasn't a thing yet. And it's like, oh, are you gonna run into Yanni in like top 32, top 16, maybe, right? But like that was it back then. But now you can't even get into top 64 without fighting Steve. It's like now it's way different. Like
especially not this tournament. This tournament was very Steve heavy is another thing to consider. Like just raw data wise.
We knew that going into it. We said this before we went live with the show.
And something to think about too is like even though that chunky upset did happen on Quandale. There you go. I was like, I know what it is. I never know. The name change kills me, dude. It really does. Anyway, so that the Chunky Kong upset happened, but then also on the other side, Yanni got an upset on Jackal. So it's like that kind of cancels out anyway. You know what I mean? Like those two kind of like, you know. And shout out to Yanni, by the way, doing well and because Jackal's good at that matchup, obviously. You guys have plenty of Steves in your
I think so too. I think he's better at it than me in terms of like we're from the same region. But yeah, like I've just been thinking about that for the past day or two. Like on the way home, I'm just thinking like a lot of these sets came down to one like stock even. Like if everything could have changed in terms of like the narrative of how we would talk about the game. But right now it's like pretty gloomy because of how dominant Steve is on social media and even like at the tournament itself, you know. But it's just crazy, like, and that's why like I'm not like I have hope, you know. I'm not like hopeless about it because, you know, Acola is the best Steve in the world, and like I've been like one game / one stock or whatever it is like from like winning.
Yeah, with Diddy Kong. Like,
but at the same time, the hardest thing about it is I know a lot of that is because like they can just move the goalposts like we've been talking about. So that makes me nervous, but still like I said this to B, like if I'm doing it with Diddy Kong, like it should be it's pretty possible. It's not like it's definitely. I wish it was like easier or something, but like it's like a lot of the players showed they were capable of beating Steve this weekend. They just barely didn't do it.
And Acola did lose a set, and obviously Onin did too because didn't win the tournament. But there were only 2 Steves projected to get top 8, and this is not like 100% just in defense of Steve. Like this is just kind of looking at it objectively. There are only 2 Steves projected to get top 8, and the 2 of them that did it were the 1 and 2 seed, and they did. Like that's it.
What happened.
Yeah, exactly. And
right.
You know, obviously, I think the character is insanely strong. Argument for best in the game, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But we'll see what happens after the next tournament. And like, if Riddles wins again, no one's talking about Steve anymore. Everyone's talking about Kazuya. You know what I mean? Like, it's just to me, it's more like just the community just jumps every week to the new topic, like the new thing to go. If Light wins the next tournament, guess what we're talking about? It's fucking Fox. You know what I mean? Like, how good is Fox? Is Fox top 2? Could he be number 1? Like, it just always happens. So. We'll see. Steve is very consistent, very good. We've all said that for a long time now at this point, so we'll see what happens. But we definitely want to talk about Steve more, and I think we talked about it. We're going to, since none of us are going to a tournament this weekend, we're going to do a Patreon episode, and I think we're going to specifically talk about characters in the meta, and specifically Steve and Kazuya. So check that out on our Patreon episode. That's a free plug for all of us.
If you want to see our thoughts on the ban discourse and everything, if you're interested,
one, right?
So because it is officially November, and we do a bonus episode every month on the Patreon. So if anyone is interested in that, and thank you to those who already support it.
Hey everyone, today's episode is sponsored by Honey, the easy way to save when shopping on your iPhone or computer. Now, I don't know about all of you, chat, but I do be shopping online all the time. The thing is, though, I always feel like I'm wasting money when I can't find a promo code when I'm ready to check out. But thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past. Honey is the free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. Now, let me paint a little picture for you. Imagine you're shopping on one of your favorite sites. When you check out, the Honey button appears and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. Wait a few seconds as Honey searches for a coupon it can find for that site, and if Honey finds a working coupon, you'll watch the prices drop. So I used Honey earlier this week, right after recording this episode, to order my dog a bag of his favorite treats because he had just ran out. Now, I order these things all the time because he's such a good boy. And thanks to Honey, I was able to save $5 on my purchase. I'll be using Honey to save money when ordering these dog treats every time from here on out. It was just so easy to use. And did you know, Honey doesn't just work on desktop. It works on your iPhone too. Just activate it on Safari on your phone and save on the go. If you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this show. I'd never recommend something I don't use, so get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/tweek. That's joinhoney.com/tweek.
But yeah, there's some other things to talk about as well. I think ApolloKage played fantastic this weekend.
Yes,
true.
That's my guy. I love ApolloKage.
Like very strong and creative snake player. Like very impressive. Zomba.
Really fun to watch. Really
consistent as well.
C4s are insane.
Yeah, his C4
he has the best
sick.
C4s in the game. Yeah,
it's got swag to the snake. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Yeah.
I like his grenade follow-ups more than anything. I feel like he follows up off of what feels like random grenades better than anyone.
Consistently, yeah.
He's always that gif of Zach Galifianakis in The Hangover doing the math. Like he's just watching the explode in the C4, like, and then he's there, and then he neutralizes you for an extra 30. It's like, what the hell? Like, how did that? It was 1 grenade, 2 grenade, then he 18 hit combo. It's like, what the hell?
Why am I getting like combo videoed from this character right now?
It's just great too because Snake is a character that could have kind of fallen off a little bit in the meta, like just getting. Because he's like a vanilla character, you know, DLC, et cetera, et cetera. And I feel like he gets beat up pretty hard when people really learn the matchup. But him and Grape had a pretty good weekend, too. So it's good to see the Snakes out here doing their thing. I'm a fan of the character. I like watching him play. So shouts to AK. First top 8, I think, at an S tier. That was one of his goals, and I think he hit it right before his birthday. So happy birthday as well to AK. Good week for him.
Yeah, congrats. Zomba doing well as always. Like always. We've said this like multiple times on the show. Like, if there's a big tournament and you don't have Zomba in top 8, you're most likely throwing.
True.
Definitely.
He's like one of those players where you gotta at least expect him in top 8.
You know what's really funny about that, by the way?
What's up?
You know they call him the Prince of New York? And the King of New York was
Yes.
Dabuzz, and Dabuzzes, you always expect Dabuzz in top 8. And now
Yes.
Zomba's also like, oh snap!
Damn, that's actually crazy.
Isn't that crazy to think about?
It's
It
like a
just hit
shoe-in,
me.
yeah.
Damn.
How consistent they are, yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
That is wild.
And then I got 7th. Ned getting 7th with
Lit.
Sephiroth, PT.
Ned?
Shouts to Ned top 8ing with a DLC character that is definitely separate from some of the other ones.
True. Definitely the worst of Fighter Pass 2, which is saying something.
Okay, that's fair.
I was glad that he was willing to play both, though. That's what I appreciated the most about Ned's tournament run, because I remember commentating one of his earlier matches, and I'm hyping up the Sephiroth, you know, getting ready. It's going to be sick. We're going to see the Sep. And it was like, nope, PT. And I was like, oh, snap. I was like, all right. Well, Ned, known for his Squirtle. The Squirtle was doing great. And I don't know. It was really refreshing to see his PT in action, because he was one of the best PTs in the beginning of the meta. You know what I mean? And was a lot like Squirtle focused as well. So really fun to watch. So it's also just a treat to see him bring it out, but also just Ned accepting like, okay, there might be certain matchups that Sephiroth can't do, right? Use the PT. Boom. Should be fine.
It's interesting because he played Snake into Snake, but he played PT against Grape, and then he played Sephiroth against ApolloKage.
Right. That was really interesting. I was wondering why he did that.
Yeah. I so the interesting thing about PT Snake is I hear a lot of back and forth opinions on who wins the matchup. I personally think it's really, really hard for PT. I think it's really hard to deal with Nikita because Switch doesn't do much. You don't have air mobility. I think it's really hard to get off the ledge because of all the stuff flying around. But a lot of people like simplify it like, oh, like Ivysaur just puts Snake in the air and like Snake can't do anything. So like I don't like it's hard for me to say exactly what the truth of the matter is in that matchup, but I personally don't like it. But I also don't like it as Sephiroth. So I think Ned really has to play that by feel, and I think that's what he did, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that matchup too, because we were just talking yesterday about the tournament and whatever, and I think you're right. Like, and he's known for his PT. It's his Squirtle too, right? Like he's like you, where his Squirtle is his lead. So maybe that is where, or maybe he saw something when he played against Grape. But I always knew Sephiroth versus Snake is very stressful for stuff. Every hit you just feel so much.
Yeah, one grenade might have lost you the game, kind of thing. Like like taking that damage is just really, really stressful.
Is Squirtle good against Snake? Like you can neutral B the grenades, right?
Yeah, you can like disrupt the flow of
really
everything,
good.
but I think valuable openings are hard, if that makes sense.
Because of the frame one grenade.
Yeah, Razor Leaf is good to disrupt everything. You have disruption, but overall, I think if the wow.
That was really funny.
Dude, and it's
that was
easy,
hilarious.
It's easy for Snake to get enough damage on Squirtle where you feel like you have to switch as well. Like his damage rack up ability is so good too. So
I think if their disadvantage isn't lazy as Snake, I feel like the whole just like destroy them with Ivysaur or Charizard. Like I don't think it's actually accurate at like top level. So that like makes it a lot easier where because I always hear like a PT player or a Snake player like be like, yeah, just like Ivysaur up air over and over. It's like, oh, okay.
I mean,
like that's when I just stopped listening.
The clip we just saw, I think, is a great demonstration of what you were talking about. It was literally Snake spamming up smash like over and over, about a roll distance away from the corner, and PT couldn't do anything. It was like switch isn't going to get you through. You don't move, and you're not. You know what I'm saying? You don't get anywhere, and then like you're kind of just hopping around, and like you just don't have a lot of options. You don't have a lot of air mobility. You can't roll in that situation or maybe you can roll shield. Like,
bro, it's so funny because we were hyping up ApolloKage, like how creative he is. It's like, oh, he just smash with the ledge. Actually,
that was so
if it works, it works.
No, but that's good. That's a good situation to use it in, right? Because PT doesn't have good air mobility.
Well,
it's hard to. Oh yeah.
He only went Sephiroth. Yeah, but I was thinking that too, and we talked about I think it was with you, Gavin. I don't know. It was with you or someone else, but we were talking about how Sephiroth is like king of the ledge, right? Like you can't ledge trap him. Like if you get too close, like Octa Slash, Snake can though. Like Snake can up smash. Snake can set up grenades. Like he kind of doesn't really fuck with his flow. Like
he doesn't have a hurt box near his like actual hitboxes. So
yeah, it's really good. Like, and that's where Sephiroth feels very comfortable, where most characters don't, obviously. But Snake doesn't give a shit.
basically like AK got a lot of like C4s because Sephiroth's Octoslash doesn't like snap the ledge, but most characters can't abuse that because like it's just too much range and hitboxes. But
Right.
if you're using projectiles or like a huge move, like you can actually like take advantage of that.
Or just having the grenade by the ledge. You can't go for the charge Octoslash because
Yeah.
it'll proc the grenade. If the snake is shielding with the nade by his foot, then you get hit by it. They combo into back air, right? Like it's just
Yeah, like Snake's or Sephiroth's strength in those scenarios is he can be on the ledge for longer than most characters. It's not necessarily that it's like he's better at getting off the ledge. It's that he can be there longer, so he has like more mix-ups before he gets up. And Snake either messes with the ledge snap or he sets up. So it's like either way, it's not a dub for Sephiroth. Like Sephiroth's gonna have to get out of the corner eventually, and if there's no risk for Snake, then that's just really difficult. So yeah, I think that matchup can be pretty hard. Snake also has one of the best crouches in the game and a crawl. It's really hard not to trade. Your advantage state just isn't that great for the matchup. Like, but I am glad to see because we're seeing a lot of like really ridiculous characters in top 8, but seeing characters like Peach, Sephiroth, Diddy Kong, like there's hope.
Yeah,
there's hope.
Yeah.
Riddles getting 4th place, right? That's another person just like Zomba where if like they're attending the tournament, it's like, all right, well, let's start predicting like where they're placing in top 8. Like there's so many of those players. Even Mute is starting to get there.
Yep.
Like, which is kind of nuts.
I like the Riddles one too because he was tweeting about how he didn't feel confident and he seemed in his own head and like all. And Riddles is definitely one of those players that works with his. He has some issues with confidence or with mentality and stuff sometimes. So I was really happy to see him do well on it. Obviously, I always root for the kid, but yeah, it was nice to see that he was like not feeling it Friday, Saturday, and then does really well Saturday, Sunday, which I always love to see. So
yeah, after Riddles got knocked out of the tournament, like I was that guy and like asked him to play, even though you're not supposed to ask people for pictures or for games.
No way.
But we had been talking about playing a lot, like actually grinding, and I just did not care. Like
I meant to give you props too, because you tweeted any Kazuya or Steves want to play like 45 minutes after you're out of the tournament. I was like, fuck yeah. I love seeing that shit. I love seeing that shit. I was so pumped.
Yeah.
I was like, let's go. And
I like low key, Riddles, I'm sorry. I did this to Riddles at Ludwig's too, like twice in a row. Like I'm I'm waiting for both of us to be out of the tournament, and then I'm fiending to play with him because I want to beat him. Because I feel like Riddles' Kazuya is so good that the only way for me to like be ready to fight Riddles is to fight Riddles.
Yep.
So I'm gonna do it. Like if he's down. So I actually did play a 1st to 5 with Riddles after the tournament. Well, it's like during like grand finals, like around like towards the end. So shouts to Riddles for being willing to do that. And also shouts to myself for not being sad and just grinding it out. Shouts to Soar. I played with Soar Steve before that as well. Got some ideas to fight Steve. Yeah. Like
you know what I was thinking about, bro? The other day I was sitting there and I was like, this story is very, very familiar. And we've seen this story happen in multiple games. And I always expected people to say that this story was re-happening with Spargo. That's what they thought, but I don't think so. But Acola is just this little kid that showed up out of nowhere, like seemingly nowhere, beating everyone in Japan. And they're like, bro, Japan must be crazy. Like, this person can't be that good that they just show up and just starts beating everyone. And then that same person travels to the US where they don't know how to speak the language. I know this may sound very familiar for a couple of players in our past history. They don't know the language. They're by themselves, essentially. Like, it's just them on their own. And, well, I guess for Acola, like the translator or Leo brother or like whatever, right? But like, yeah. and they show up and they like do okay their first event. Well, actually, was their first event Invitational? Was Acola's first event
Wynn's first event.
Wynn's first event.
Yeah.
Then, sorry, my B. But then it's an invitational. It's an invitational. Wait until you see an open. Everybody wasn't there. Blah 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 blah. Oh, okay. Well, didn't that see fourth? What? Not that great. And then here it goes. Like the story is like bothering me. How similar it is to like a lot of excellent players that we've had over the years, and I was just like, bro, is this a new potential number one? Like, now I know that's a crazy thing to say.
It's not,
but it's not.
No, it's early, not. But it's not crazy. Yeah,
it's not great.
It's crazy to say.
I think it's crazy to say Acola isn't in the conversation. Like, if I were to say who's the best player in the world right now, I would say Leo. But
yeah, same.
But there's multiple people that are in the realm that deserve the credit. Like,
but again,
even Proto deserves to be in the conversation sometimes with these tournament results.
But again,
Acola,
think about how think how one tournament changed that though. Without Luds,
without Luds, Acola is easy number one.
I don't know. It's not even
close. I don't think it's close. Like,
bro, even with Luds, he got second. Acola got second. Did he only lose to Leo?
Only lost to Leo.
Statistically, it literally might be. Statistically, it literally might be.
Right. Like when I say I think MK Leo is number one in the world, like in my brain, I'm just saying like skill wise. That is my opinion. Yeah. Like on paper though, if we had a rankings like right now on paper,
it might be Acola. Yeah.
Yeah, like on paper, it's Acola right now.
And I think I look at it the same way, Charles, where it's like if open bracket, 1,000 entrants, and all like top 100 players are there, who are you betting on? Like that's number one. It's like, all right, I'm betting on Leo. You know what I mean? Like that's just consistent.
Honestly,
see, that's what I'm saying though. That's where it gets interesting. I'm betting on Leo, bro.
Okay, I think.
But I'm betting on Gavin. Obviously.
Hold on, I might.
That's my goat.
Okay, but honestly, I think open bracket, like, let's not say 1,000. Let's up it, like Supermajor, right? 1,500, right?
Oh, super.
We got
3,000 in this bitch.
Okay, all right. Might be 2,000, right? Like a Smash Con, right? Like a Genesis, like one of those, right? And all of Japan is there. All of Europe is there. U.S. is there. Mexico.
This tournament's fucking lit.
That's a good point that you need all. That's a good point.
I'm actually putting my money on Acola to win that event. If I had to,
I don't know,
because there's the off chance. There's the off chance that Leo runs into Proto multiple times, and we still haven't seen him have an answer for it.
No, because Proto's problem for the argument for number one is inconsistency.
It's not number one. It's that Leo in the open bracket might run into Proto. And Leo currently hasn't shown that he has an answer for it.
There are too many. That's one player out of the whole 3,000.
But I think Leo does have an answer for Proto, though.
You might.
Joker?
It's Joker.
Oh,
yeah,
bro, that was
Joker.
But we
know what's funny? At Let's, we were talking about how we needed to see Onin against Leo. Now we need to see the run back, bro. We need to see Leo. We need to see Leo against Proto. 1,000,000%, bro.
If that happens at a tournament, like I'm betting Leo.
Turning up,
I would side bet Leo. Straight up.
Definitely. That's what I'm saying. And not only that,
look
but Marcus.
I will side bet any of you guys on that.
But Marcus, too, the problem with that is Proto has to get to him because they're going to be seated close to each other. So there's going to be a lot of. Proto loses a lot in his own region, bro. And if you're saying a lot of Japan's going.
Yeah, that's it. That's like a card for Proto. It's like,
I'm telling you.
Region, dude, stay back. Invitationals only, man. I just
my simple thoughts is at the moment, there is not a single situation on planet Earth.
Wait, save it for the Patreon.
Other than myself, where I would bet against Leo. Unless it was me.
See, that's another player.
That's another one. Yeah, you do well against him too.
Your record.
Gluto's, I think Gluto's been beating him the majority of the time as well. It's not like it's going to be a like, oh, Leo's gonna win.
I'm just saying, even if Leo played Gluto right now, as nice as it's been that Gluto's been winning, and like I also don't side bet, but I would need, because Leo is so good and so much better most of the time. that like he's gonna have to lose to X player like more than 5 times for me to be like even wanting this, because like him losing is always a freak accident. Like no matter what.
Leo is really good too. I think Mars has the most raw amount of wins against Leo.
Wait, another question. I know we're listing off all the potential people who could upset Leo in this bracket. Who could upset Acola though? Like Mute, obviously. Light. There's a couple options there. It's pretty close though. Like the number of people.
Wait. Light player Acola at Ludwig's?
No.
No.
A lot of the X Factor players.
Who played? Didn't he play a Steve at Lud's? Light.
He lost to
Onin
and Zomba.
It was Onin.
He did lose to Acola in winners.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Onin.
Oh, so he did play. Okay.
So he lost to Acola and Zomba.
You know what they say? Nobody beat Onin twice. I mean, Acola twice. Except Leo.
Yeah.
Except Leo. That's
basically what I was
in
getting
that tournament,
bro. You know who I got making top 8 in that tournament? It's fucking Sonix. Winners bracket. I don't care. I'm picking Sonix.
True spitting.
Top 8.
True
True. I got Sonix all day.
That's what I was talking about with the difficulty of Steve, though. When you win a set, dude, the next set is gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I think Sonix is actually good against Steve.
Yeah,
like the way
absolutely.
He beat Onin. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't think
a lot of that
versus any character.
Wi-Fi grinding during the Wi-Fi era. I mean, Steve's were prominent during that time too. So
Sonix literally only lost to Aegis, and that Mexican Aegis. That was it. That's all he lost to. It was Spargo and Leo.
Crazy.
That's it. That is all
he does a lot of things that.
But he did get 6-0'd, so
yeah,
that's something to think about.
That's tough. That's tough.
Yeah,
I mean, Sonic as a character does have rough matchups. You know, like I know we all talk highly of Sonic.
Nope.
Oh, really?
Rough matchup. Rough matchup. 1.
2. It's 2.
I also wouldn't say the word rough.
Fox do well.
Fox.
Fox. That's right. I forgot about that.
I wouldn't use the word rough to describe any of them.
All right, so you just think this character is the best character of the game.
You think Sonic's number? Oh wait, save it for the Patreon.
No, I don't.
No, you think Sonic?
Stop! Delete that.
You just think Sonic is number 2?
No, like top 5. Like
top 5. Okay.
Like I think
that's fine.
I think Sonic might lose to like Aegis or Fox or something, but it's not rough.
I think Aegis is rough, dude. That was terrible.
You can just tell Gavin fucking hates this character. He was like, excuse your vocabulary, sir.
Okay, but hear me out. I also actually have a lot of respect for Sonix. I actually think Sonix is like top 10 skill in Ultimate. Like, and I have faith in Sonix versus 99.9% of players.
Everyone except for Leo, Spargo, and Light. That's it. That's the only people where I'm like, oh shit, maybe not. And you do well against Sonic as well.
I mean, yeah, but it depends on the.
I'm not in that caliber. I'm not in those. I'm like right below that. I'm like right below that.
It's like you're probably more likely to win, but like he still could give you some trouble.
Absolutely, yeah.
Let's be real too. Onin did force the game 5, so it's not like that was free for him. But anyway, all right. Well, I like this imaginary.
Hold on. Speaking of, okay. Well, now that we're here, if y'all could in a super crazy bracket like that, pick your just 8 players.
Oh no,
you
dude.
feel like you can't get into like the bracket. Oh, if this player plays this player, just
Zomba, Sonix, Leo, Spargo.
Okay.
Light. Oh my god, this is hard. Did we say Acola?
Really hard.
No, you didn't.
Acola.
I want to say Light.
Did I say Sonix yet? Yeah, I did.
You
right?
said Sonix.
Okay, thank God. I was like, I can't talk all this shit.
Damn, this is like super hard. What the hell,
bro? Leo,
it's crazy that the buzz isn't on this.
Acola.
He could be.
It has to be the buzz.
Yeah.
But he's playing these people like outside of top 8.
Oh, I'd say Riddles too.
Yep, Riddles is automatic.
Riddles the buzz. Gavin, you're in the conversation, obviously.
You said like 10 people, y'all.
This is a super hard question.
We ain't say Gluto.
I almost feel uncomfortable to answer.
We didn't say
T?
Wait,
dude, there's too many good players. There's too many good players.
Blue forever. I'm saying it. I said what I said.
You said 20 people.
Siski, Mr. Consistent. Hold on.
He is. He's very consistent. Yeah. Damn. I'm also like, I love this because I'm such a fan of so many of these fucking players, man. Like, this is good. Like, it's funny because like everything on Twitter is so gloom and doom and Steve and ban bullshit. And it's like, dude, I love so many players in this game. You know, like they're all so much fun to watch, dude.
Comment y'all top 8. I'm serious. I'm curious to see who.
We'll put it on the Patreon episode.
They're 8 players. Like, that's just a really interesting idea because it's not necessarily who you think are the 8 best players in the world currently.
Who do you think are the most
consistent
to get a top 8?
Yep.
In the most top-loaded tournament, specifically, right? Like,
I think some are non-negotiable though.
There are.
Well, I mean,
I feel like there's 10 non-negotiables.
There's like
most of them are, but you could get like 2 or 3.
I think there's 2 non-negotiables.
Leo Spargo.
I'm not even.
The 2 non-negotiables.
He's non-negotiable, dude.
It's Leo Acola.
And Acola.
Those are the 2
Leo is non-negotiable, yeah.
Leo and Acola.
Yeah. The thing is, I think the people that are usually shoo-ins for
even
top
Light
8,
can run into bad matchups. You know what I'm saying?
That's basically what I was getting at. There's a handful of people that are non-negotiable for normal tournaments, but if we're talking a not normal tournament, like a crazy tournament, that list gets a little smaller.
Yeah. Like an S tier, yeah.
It basically becomes Leo, like Acola, like stuff like that. We also didn't even mention Spargo. Like Spargo's. Oh.
Many times.
Well, we forgot Gluto at one point too, so I thought maybe, but like Zomba and Light are usually shoo-ins, but I think if it's a crazy tournament, like there might be some flexibility there.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I'll also say Sonix is a non-negotiable. He's making top 8, dude. I don't care if it's winners or losers.
Oh, you might run into Light Tweek. See you.
That's true.
Leo, like
I think it's more negotiable than usual, but like I would still have be not surprised.
I would honestly
like an 80% chance, dude.
Sonix and DeBuzz there, bro. It's just like how can
it's so hard, yeah.
Even
it's a fun question.
It is. I don't know. It just like crossed my mind for a moment. I was like, who are like the non-negotiables?
The dude. This question has so many layers.
It's Leo Acola.
Just say Leo and move on. He's the only and Acola. And
I think there's 2 non-negotiables.
I think Light is non-negotiable.
Yes, but again, like the one tournament thing.
At a super major with a bunch of, if Light's playing a bunch of sets, I'll give him non-negotiable actually, because he will power up.
I think Zomba is like borderline negotiable too.
Yeah.
Okay, if this is for top 8, and then
Riddles is on around there too.
Yes, and I think with Light, I think the other thing is I think Woods was a like an anomaly for him. I don't think like that was just a bad weekend for him. Like and I think with data, like with the tournaments, you just have to remove like the two of the best and 2 of the worst, and like then you have their average, right? Like just pretty standard kind of management of data. And you get rid of that. Light is maybe the most consistent player on the planet, maybe. And Leo do the same thing, like both of them. Yeah. So yeah, Light for sure.
Lighter, like
this is
recent.
I feel like we don't talk about general stuff like this very often, like
it's
best
fun.
Players, like because there's always like actual tournament stuff to talk about, but
we might have a weekend off here. Is there anything big happening this weekend? I meant to ask.
I'm not sure, but I'm not gonna be anywhere, which is nice because I'm feeling a little under the weather.
Chuck, are you going anything?
For what? Oh, this coming weekend?
Yeah, I'm not going anything.
I'm going to League of Legends Worlds this weekend, but it's only one day.
Anyway.
What? It's just one day. It's World Finals.
Just flexing on us for no reason.
No, but you asked
who you
what
like?
I do on the weekend.
Who winning?
What?
You think T1 winning?
Oh, you're talking League? He's asking you, Chuck. I don't watch League.
I don't have an answer for this.
Faker must win.
T1 Leo wins.
Yeah. T1 Leo, yeah. One other thing, too, there was also Edgeguard Fight to Fright. Speaking of Sonix, won that. I don't think he dropped a game. He didn't drop a game in top 8. Shoutouts to Chase, making a good losers run to get second, beating Ven and Dakpo.
Shouts to Dakpo.
And shouts to Dakpo getting third place. Yep. Hell yeah. Ven, Zelda Sora. Yeah, it was a good... Shu was in there, too. A lot of good players with this bracket, because I know most people were focused on Miami, but, obviously, shouts to all the other events that are going on this weekend, so cool. Yeah. Well, I don't know what's going on this weekend, but I'm excited. I'm sure there's like an EU tournament, which I love. So we'll see. But
Yeah.
whatever,
So,
man.
One quick thing I want to say before we like wrap things up is
Uh-oh.
damn, you know what's crazy? So remember when we started this podcast, we used
No.
to talk more concepts like that, where it's like not about tournament results, but just more like fun Smash topics. I do kind of want to do more of that. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I mean, still talking about tournaments and stuff, and we still naturally go into talking topics off the tournaments. But some of the older stuff we talked about was really cool too. Like when we
Yeah.
started the podcast earlier on.
We can diversify. Chat, tell us below. What do you want us to talk about more?
Yeah,
Do you want me and
true.
Charles? Do you want deep dives on commentary? Do you want deep dives on gameplay concepts? This fictional bracket. What do you guys want to see? Aside from obviously,
All right, who wins?
Okay,
Light
hold
with
on.
his sleeved rolls up, or Riddles never missing an electric.
Oh jeez.
Dude, this is tough.
Or
It's game 5, last talk, last hit.
Also, fun fact: Riddles already doesn't miss electric.
Not true. He forgot to pay the electric bill at Lowe's. It turned off.
True.
That shit was not working. I don't know what was up with him that weekend, but that character's
That about wraps it up, though.
good shit.
Like I said, it is November, so we are gonna do a bonus episode, and we have. I think all of us have the week off in terms of tournament stuff.
Yeah, we usually do it earlier on in the month too, just so we can get it out of the way. So I
Yeah.
mean, expect the November one pretty soon.
Expect it within 2 weeks at the latest, but definitely probably within the next 5 days or so.
Yeah.
Who's going to Apex?
I will be at Apex and
Can't
Poor
go.
Priority
I'm going
for
to
those who are
Dreamhack Atlanta
interested.
that
So
weekend.
nothing this weekend, then Poor Priority, then Apex. That's my schedule at the moment.
I can't make it.
Yeah. And I will be practicing throughout the week if anyone is interested in watching me play Smash. And that's about it, though. Thanks for watching, y'all. That was a fun one.
See you.
Have a good one.
See ya.
Bye-bye.